what do you make of the disagreement
Yes.
between the northern governors and the rest of the governors over this creation of state police? Now, let me give you this illustration. A critic once said that between 2003 and 2007, where the southern states were being controlled by the PDP, there was not that much agitation over the creation of state police. And now that it looks like the ACN is beginning to control the region, there's so much of clamor for state police. Now, what do you make of the disagreement? Do you think it is a political disagreement or just logical, based on the fact that they're going to be misused?
Well, the disagreement between the governors in the north and the governors in the south, it is probably more of a cultural disagreement. People coming from their various and varied perspectives located within their social cultural environment. It's not strictly a political thing, because even the PDP governors in the south of the view that we should have state police, the PDP governor of Plateau State in the north is of the view that we should have state police. And there's a bit of hypocrisy here, because we do have state police already in some of the states in the north. The Hisbah, the Islamic police, if you like, just 2-3 days ago in Kano State, it was reported that they were going around arresting those Muslims who are known to be Muslims, but who are not taking part in Ramadan fast, arresting them. Is that not a police force operating in the state, albeit illegally?
Now,
So I think that we shouldn't attach too much importance to disagreement between the governors in the north and the governors in the south, which is not really strictly across the lines of party affiliation. It's not even strictly a matter of region and religion. It is really a matter of the individual view of the governors. It is important that we look at the merits and demerits, and we should create the new constitution should have a provision for the states to run their police, but there must be checks and balances in such a way that no governor will be able to abuse the police under his command.
Can you give an example of these checks and balances?
Yeah, thank you. Now, I will just borrow from the contraption, if you like, which we call the NJC, the National Judicial Council. Now, the NJC is actually a wise anti-federal arrangement which has insulated the judiciary at the states from undue interference by the state's chief executives. And by that I mean, and I'm trying to advocate that we need to have an NJC equivalent for the police. I will explain that. Now, if we didn't have the NJC as clearly articulated in the Constitution, the judges in the states will be forced to be beholden to their governors. And judges may be removed according to the whims and caprices of the governors.
Now let's look at the challenge that in which the call for state police derived its strength. That's based on the insecurity situation in the country. Now, looking at the upgrading of the devices of this sect attackers now, from the IEDs to the rocket-propelled grenades now, the issue of funding comes up. Do you think if we have a state police, that the state government could fund it, considering the challenges on the ground?
Fine. Your question is one I'm going to flow into. If you don't mind, let me conclude my thoughts on the other one. It's going to flow directly into what you just asked. Now, in order to obviate the very critical fears that the governors are going to misuse their police, we need to have at the federal level which is already provided for in the 3rd schedule of the Constitution as it exists. We need to have a National Police Council, which the Constitution already provides for. And then what do you do there? You need to have a system whereby even the governor cannot appoint, if you like, a commissioner of state police without going through the NPC, which will be the police equivalent of the NJC. And the governor cannot remove, the way you can't remove a judge without going through the NJC, you cannot dismiss the commissioner, the deputy commissioner, the assistant commissioner, the DPO, who is actually under your employ. You cannot remove him without the matter going to the NPC, the police equivalent of the NJC I have in mind, which is already provided for in the Constitution, but we require some broadening of the scope. And then, at the state level, you need to have a police commission at the states, in which case, before any steps are taken concerning the police at the state, that is the state or local government police, before any steps are taken, you must go through the commission in the state before you even appoint. And such a commission should statutorily have as the members representatives of civil society organizations, the Nigerian Bar Association, the Nigerian Union of Journalists, the Christian Association of Nigeria, the Jamaatul Nasrul Islam, etc., etc. Nigerian Labour must be there. You have them there, and even though the governor is the one in charge of the state, but even at the state level, the commission are made up of people statutorily who are beholden to the civil society. And so that will operate as a kind of check and balance on the state's chief executive. An NPC at the national level, which is totally removed from him, and then SPC, state police commissions at the levels of the states, which statutorily have as their members people who are not appointed by the governor. So the governor has a measure of authority, but his authority is clipped somehow. Then, to come now to the issue of who's going to fund the police, given that the states already are finding it difficult to pay salaries of universities that they run and so on. The answer is very simple. If you are removing some of the powers of the federal police and decentralizing to the states, you will remove some of the money which were domiciled in the federal government. You will simply decentralize the same funds to the states, because there will be need for us to get the architecture right. If you go to the common law classification of crimes, there were simple offenses, which was offenses, the punishments of which are under 6 months. Then there were misdemeanors, 6 months to just under 3 years. And then the felonies, 3 years and above. Now, very simple, simply devolve simple offenses and misdemeanors, clear them out of the jurisdiction of federal police,
but going
hand over to the state. And remember that I'm even a believer in local government police, so simple offenses should even go to the council areas.